Yo, what's up guys? Network here. Today I'm going to be talking about Subtlety Rogue and Wrath of the Lich King. It's just going to be a pretty basic guide and understanding on how to play a Subtlety Rogue. I think the biggest misconception of Subtlety Rogue is it's complicated. I think if you've never played the Rogue class before, I can completely understand why it might feel a little bit overwhelming, but it's one of the highest burst classes in the game and you have a lot of control and a lot of ways to get away. So I'm going to go over one of the first biggest things as a rogue you need to make sure you don't mess up. So this is something that, if you're not, if you're new, let's say you're new to Arena, you're new to Rogue, you want to play a Rogue, this is going to be the most basic. So if you've played a Rogue forever, please feel free to skip ahead. But I just want to go over basics first, and then we'll get into the meat. So here, I'm going to pre-med, shadow step, cheap shot. Okay, I'll probably have to backstab once, and then I press kidney. You never want to overlap your stuns. Okay, so stun timers, having big debuffs, understanding that is going to put you ahead of a lot of rogues in the lower rating bracket. The reason I say this, and I know it's super simple and it shouldn't have to be said, but there's going to be new players that don't understand. So one of the biggest issues that new players might have is they'll cheap shot and then they'll kidney shot. Okay, the only reason you ever want to do that is if they trinket your cheap shot, right? So you catch their trinket. Okay, now let's talk about just a simple opener on a target. Let's say someone's sapped for a couple of seconds now. We're going to open the target. So I'm going to press premeditation, shadow step, cheap shot, eviscerate, dance, ambush, kidney, ambush, eviscerate, ambush, eviscerate, and then my dance should fall. And that's going to be your ideal opener if they sit the full amount of stuns. And that's going to put the most amount of pressure on the opposing team. Yo, what's up guys? So here I'm doing some skirmishes to kind of talk about my UI. So the biggest one I think is important is OMNICD. That's an add-on that tracks your teammates' cooldowns. The next one's going to be Gladdy on the right to track the other team's cooldowns when they use it and their trinket. This button right here is super important. So the other team currently, it's just Dpriest. So this is kind of a simple way to look at it. This guy says I can 1v1 him. Honestly, kind of sick. So we're just going to 1v1 this priest. I'm just going to press sap just to set up, okay? So I'm going to go over my rotation. I'm going to cheap shot, eviscerate, dance, garrote here, ambush, kidney. I'm just kind of smoking it. He's going to have to fear me soon. I trigger fear immediately. I'm looking for a kick here. I kick. I'm actually just going to bleed. I'm going to press ambush again. Cheap shot. He has to trinket, or I just eviscerate. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about are add-ons. Add-ons are extremely important in Wrath of the Lich King, and I think you should have these regardless of what class you play. But if you play Rogue, specifically, these are the ones that I would recommend using. So I'm actually just going to drag this over, keep it super simple. I'll put this down in the description too. But we're going to get big debuffs, Gladdy, Wrath of the Lich King, Plater, weak auras, OMNICD, ARENAStats to see what teams you lose to, and just it's nice to be able to see what you get into, and then details. So nothing fancy, nothing crazy. Plater you can customize. I have a Plater profile that's customized for my members. So if you are a member and want my Plater profile, just make sure to go into the channel and you'll see it. Besides that, let's hop into macros and then we'll finish this video off. Okay, so we're getting into the fun stuff. We're going to go over macros. Usually I'm hiding my right bar over here, but I kind of want to explain and just go over some basic macros. They will also be in the description. I think macros can make our gameplay a lot easier, and some people just, you don't know where to get them. You don't know which ones work. You don't know what people are using. And as someone who likes to, build the community up and make WoW Arena players, grow this as big as we can, which I know is small and niche, but it's still fun. I want to kind of supply as much info as I can. So the first one, just as a basic Arena player, I think it is extremely important to have Arena 1 through 3. If you only play 2s, 1 through 2 is fine. But targeting Arena 1, targeting Arena 2, targeting Arena 3. I found it most simple for me, having it Control 1, Control 2, Control 3. So if I press Control 1, I'll target Arena 1. So let's say the rogue's on Arena 1, he's out of stealth, I press Control Run, I see him. Alt 1, Alt 2, Alt 3 are going to be my focus. So let's say the priest is Arena 2. I press Alt 2, and now my focus frame will pop up, but I'm still targeting something else, right? So my focus frame will be here. I'm still targeting. The reason you want that is for macros like this. So focus blind. So when I set my focus in the middle of the game, I don't have to necessarily change it, but I can. But you know, if it's a priest healer versus priest healer versus priest healer, it's not a big deal. Sometimes you might change it, sometimes you won't. Also, it's good to have your focus to see if the other team's healer's drinking and just keep tabs on what's going on while you're killing your target. Okay, so Arena 1 through 3, super important. Focus 1 through 3, super important. Focus gouge, especially when you're playing subtlety, very, very important. That's same with focus sap. You always want to sap off of your blinds, so make sure to always try to save a vanish or use shadow dance. The next one, focus kick, also very, very important. Spammable sap, so that's going to be huge. Shadow step kick. So this one, for instance, let's say I have the priest on my focus and I just cheap shot at the rogue with shadow dance up. I'm going to shadow step kick the priest and then run back. So let's say he's casting penance, or let's say it's a holy pally casting a holy light. That could also win the game. So that's a really, really important macro just to have. So make sure you have this specifically. Like I said, it'll be in my description. I'm just kind of talking about why I think they're important. I have a bajillion macros for different things. I'm always, you know, looking to see what's better. Party 1 tricks of the trade is also really important. So if you play with different people, you don't have to really worry about always changing out the names. Yeah, that's one that I'm really happy I have. Weapon swap. It has brutal weapons in this right now, but if you want to swap, you know, to anesthetic poison when you're playing a warrior, or, you know, there's just certain situations it's good to have that set up. Besides that, last one, we'll go over this. Arena 1, cheap shot. So let's say you sap a target and you want to get to the kill target. So you sap the priest who's Arena 2, and then you want to get to the warrior who's Arena 1. This is a macro that you would press and you will shadow step, cheap shot that target. So if I sap the priest and then I'm spamming X, which you shouldn't be spamming it, but I press X and I'm in range of the warrior, I'm going to shadow step, cheap shot him. So it just saves time, and I think, you know, as an arena player, I think that's super important to always save as much time as you can. This could be the last one. Like I said, I'll have all of the important ones in the description, so you can click through and choose what you want. But this 1 and 2 specifically, when you're playing double DPS, is a must. So let's say you're playing against a rogue, and you guys are having a little rogue battles. So rogues have huge battles. It's like why I think the rogue class is so cool. It's really who can be faster, who can react quicker. So you'll know, like, a lot of rogue mage players from TBC will have this macro. So essentially, if I press my trinket button and then I press this button, I'm going to blind Arena 1 immediately. So let's say I'm blinded and I'm spamming this button. I'm going to blind Arena 1. I'm going to blind Arena 2. And so if you've ever noticed you've been blinded extremely fast, it's because they're spamming a macro. So it's not like they're immediately targeting you and pressing it. So like if I was to walk over here, press Control T or Control 1 to target Arena 1 and blind, or just tab blind. Yeah, it's fast, but this is going to just make it immediate. And I think that's the one takeaway I have with a lot of players is this is a must-have. You need to be able to blind Arena 1, Arena 2 immediately, especially if you're playing a rogue. Hopefully some of this stuff helped. I'll also put in an 80 upgrades page for my current sub-spec and the gear that I would recommend running. There's different gear sets you can run. Usually I run between 650 and 800 resilience. I think 800 is better if you're playing cheat death, but it just depends on the match you're playing. If you're playing with a healer, you definitely want on the higher end of resilience, but also keep that AP up. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and got some information out of it. Make sure to comment if you have any other questions that I can go over. My goal is to always help all of you out. Anybody that's been a subscriber, follower, the people that message me in game all the time, like, this video is for you guys. You know, the last thing actually I'll talk about is rogue comps currently on the ladder. I think rogue discipline priest is really good. If you're not the best sub rogue yet, assassination rogue discipline priest is very strong. As Avi0 has shown everyone, sub rogue discipline priest is the best comp in the game, played by the best players, but Avi0's rogue level is higher than 99.9999%. There's only a few people who can play at his level and understand the game mechanics like him. So that's a little bit different, but still, it's the #1 comp actually on the ladder on NA right now. But Assassination Rogue has been played above 2500 with Discipline Priest. Rogue Shadow Priest is going to be a rank 1 comp this season for sure. So if you have a good Shadow Priest and you want to play Subtlety, I think that's important. Rogue Preg Paladin is actually very strong, Subtlety or Assassination. I've personally played it above 2400 on my alt Rogue, just with random Preg Paladins and people or even friends, and it's very strong. Rogue Feral Druid, I played that on Horde with Machiwu right now. You know, we're above Glad range and we barely played. There's just a lot of Dpriests because there's a lot of Dpriest Ferals, so you just kind of eat priests. Besides that, Rogue Mage is also another comp you can play. It's just not a great ladder comp, but there's a couple teams that have shown if you're able to snipe and you're meticulous in how you snipe people, you can get high rated. So those are some of the comps that if you're playing a rogue, you can play. I would say play that door for the stream by. I'd say play with the Discipline Priest, play with the Shadow Priest. Those would be my two first thoughts. Feral Druid, because I've always had a place in my heart for Feral Druids. Double Rogue is also really strong, but very, very annoying when there's any Warrior Paladins or plate teams that have any brains. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. Like I said, I'll be posting more videos if this video gets 100 likes, just to make sure people are enjoying the content. Again, make sure that this is something that people want to see. And like I said, put the comments down below if you're new to the channel. Thanks for watching this video through. Hopefully you enjoy WoW Arena as much as I do. So take care of each other, guys, and make sure to pump in the arenas. Peace out.